East Africa just hosted the most successful African Nations Championship in the history of the competition. Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania became the first three nations to co-host the event. Many have credited the leadership of Patrice Motsepe for turning African football around.
There hasn't been a competition in East Africa, an African competition. President Ruto, the head of state of Kenya, was saying to me, for the last 40 years, there hasn't been a single football competition here, and this is the biggest and most exciting competition. But we love football. Football is in our hearts, but we also recognize the broader and the bigger objective we have within football to contribute to greater unity.
Under the tenure of Motsepe, CAF is now attracting the much-needed sponsorship, and the South African businessman has been praised for strengthening CAF's financial position.
What excites me is that we are currently engaged in a $1 billion tender over a period of 8 years for African football. When I became president, every member association, every country was getting, I think it was first 150,000, so we increased it immediately to 250,000, and it's now every member association is getting more than 400,000, and the zonal unions, we've doubled what they used to get.
Africa's presence on the global football stage is also becoming more significant. Last year's Africa Cup of Nations tournament made a $72 million profit. It was 18 times more than the 2022 AFCON tournament.
No leader succeed in anything, whether it's in football or business or in any organization, without the privilege that I've had to have bright, smart, talented people. And you always try and attract people who are smarter and brighter than you are. So I'm really pleased that the results speaks for themselves in terms of what has happened in African football over the last few years. And we always believe that the success of football in Africa should form a fundamental basis for broader cooperations, for broader successes on the continents in a zone.
Motsepe says African football has proved over a period of time that the continent can compete against the best in the world.
We are so happy with the enormous success of this competition, but also to say to the rest of Africa, West Africa, North Africa, Southern Africa, that African football is growing, it's succeeding. We still have some way to go, but it's becoming even more world-class. And we can confidently say that we have the ability to compete against the best in the world.
With African football minnows Madagascar having reached the final of this year's CHAN tournament is evidence that African football is growing. CAF says the increase of African teams in the 2026 FIFA World Cup from 5 to 9 teams is also a major boost for African football. Sifiso Ramara, SABC News, Nairobi, Kenya.